The Ace Pilot just got a massive rework, changing its design, stats, giving it a new ability, adjustable flight paths, and more. In this video, I'll be showcasing all the stat changes, values, and uses of this tower, and they give my personal ranking of how good it is. So, hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get started. At level 0, its total cost was increased from 500 to 550 cash, its damage was increased from 1 to 2, its fire rate was increased from 0.16 to 0.18, and its DPS was buffed from 6.66 to 11.1. It now also has a new ability, which when activated allows it to swap the direction it is flying in. At level 1, its total cost was decreased from 800 to 700 cash, but nothing else changed. At level 2, its total cost was decreased from 1150 to 1050 cash, and its bomb drop time was reduced from 4.5 to 4, increasing its DPS from 15.522 to 15.8. It also now unlocks the figure 8 flight path, which allows you to set it to fly in a figure 8 shape instead of a circle. At level 3, its total cost was decreased from 3150 to 3050 cash, and its damage was increased from 4 to 5, its explosion damage was increased from 15 to 18, its bomb drop time was reduced from 4.5 to 4, its explosion radius was increased from 4 to 4.5, and its DPS was buffed from 36.7 to 46.2. At level 4, its total cost was increased from 6350 to 6650 cash, and its damage increased from 6 to 8, its bomb damage increased from 15 to 25, its fire rate decreased from 0.108 to 0.1, its bomb drop time decreased from 3 to 2.75, its explosion radius increased from 4 to 4.5, and its DPS was buffed from 55 to 89.1. And now also gives permanent hidden detection to any enemies within the orange circle, instead of it only being temporarily granted at the start of the round. Finally, at level 5, its total cost was increased from 15,100 to 16,400 cash, and its damage increased from 10 to 12, its explosion damage increased from 20 to 30, its fire rate increased from 0.075 to 0.09, its bomb drop time decreased from 2.5 to 0.65, its explosion radius was reduced from 5.5 to 4, and its DPS was buffed from 141.3 to 179.5. Overall, this rework was an insane buff, giving it much better value and reliability thanks to being able to switch directions. Since it only costs 550 cash, you can get it on the first wave. By itself, on follow mode, a level 0 Ace Pilot can last until wave 7 without any leaks. That is incredible, and from what I know, the cheapest option to get to this wave. As a comparison, 3 Golden Scouts can also make it to wave 7, but cost 600 cash total, which is 50 more than the level 0 Ace Pilot. This makes it a fantastic option for the early game, however, it does need a map with a pretty good curve. Also, make sure it's flying counterclockwise to the track. This will help it more reliably attack enemies, and thankfully you can now change the direction that it flies in. The ability is also helpful in allowing you to deal more DPS. A neat trick you can do is once the Ace Pilot has passed the enemies, quickly flip it around and it will immediately start attacking them again. This can come in clutch for some hard rounds and helps you squeeze out some extra damage. It does an impressive amount of DPS at max level, being 179.5 for a total of 16,400 cash. That gives it an amazing value of 10.95. Unfortunately, it's not really this strong though, since it's not constantly attacking. Still, if you're on a good map and use its direction changing ability properly, you can get it to be attacking most of the time. If there aren't any curves on the map, I recommend setting it to the figure 8 flight path. This will keep it closer to a straight line, making it better on maps like Dead Ahead. You can place 8 Ace Pilots, giving it a max DPS of 1,436. That's pretty good and lets it absolutely shred mid to late game crowds. However, I wouldn't recommend using it for the final wave, as its inconsistent targeting makes it not very good against singular targets. There's one more fantastic feature of this tower that I haven't really talked about yet, and that's the permanent hidden detection it gives to any towers within its range after level 4. A lot of towers struggle with the fact that they can't see hidden enemies like the Pursuit, Ranger, and Mortar. This allows these towers to be a great option against shadow bosses and highly increases their reliability. So the Ace Pilot is now a great option for early game defense, gives really useful hidden detection support, and can shred enemies in the late game. The new flight paths and swapping directions helps it be more reliable too, but unfortunately its targeting still makes it pretty inconsistent. Regardless, I'm gonna have to rank it as a low S tier. It's super versatile and is pretty much useful the entire game. The Ace Pilot was already fantastic, so I'm surprised to see how much they buffed it. I gotta say though, I really like these changes, and being able to swap the direction it flies in feels like something they should have had from the start. But let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this rework and whether or not you agree with my ranking. And if you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to join the Blue Head Mafia. Also, if you want to talk to me, consider checking out my Discord. We got some pretty cool features, like a custom party finder bot that will automatically pair you up with other people who are trying to do the same strategy. There's a link to the server pinned in the comments. And finally, I want to give a huge shout out to these channel members for supporting my content. If you want to add me as a friend on Roblox or get early access to some of my videos, consider becoming a channel member. It helps me out a lot and I really appreciate it. Anyways, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.